Saturn in traditional astrology. Saturn as we see it in the sky. Saturn is the most distant planet visible with naked eye, with magnitude between minus 0.55 at its brightest to plus 1.17 at its dimmest. It is observable as a pale yellow star. It is also the slowest in motion. It takes Saturn 29 years, 5 months and 13 days to travel through the 12 signs of the zodiac, with 2 minutes and 1 second average daily speed. The synodic period of Saturn is the time between two conjunctions with the Sun, around 378 days, 2 hours and 10 minutes. Throughout this period, Saturn forms different configurations with the Sun. Exact conjunction within 16 minutes before or after the Sun, also known as Casimir. In this configuration, Saturn is invisible. Within the rays of the Sun, when Saturn is invisible within approximately 15 degrees before or after the Sun. Morning rising from first visibility at 15 degrees before the Sun to approximately 120 degrees before the Sun in the order of signs. In this interval, Saturn moves directly and is visible before sunrise as a morning star. First station at approximately 120 degrees before the Sun in the order of signs, when Saturn stops in its motion and turns retrograde. A retrograde motion from approximately 120 degrees before the Sun to approximately 120 degrees after the Sun in the order of signs. In this interval, Saturn is retrograde in motion and is visible first before sunrise, evening rising, then after sunset, morning setting. A chronicle setting when Saturn approaches the opposition with the Sun in approximately 15 degrees. This is the beginning of the curtailed passage. Opposition to the Sun at 180 degrees. A chronicle rising when the Sun distances from Saturn in approximately 15 degrees after opposition. Saturn is still retrograde. This is the end of the curtailed passage. Second station at approximately 120 degrees after the Sun in the order of signs, when Saturn stops in its motion and turns direct. Evening setting from approximately 120 degrees after the Sun to last visibility at 15 degrees after the Sun in the order of signs. In this interval, Saturn moves directly and is visible after sunset as an evening star. This continues until it reaches the rays of the Sun and begins the new cycle. Nature of Saturn. Saturn is the most distant planetary body visible from Earth with naked eye, prior to the celestial sphere of the fixed stars. For this reason, its influence on the life on Earth is also understood as distant and almost alien. According to Aristotle, the terrestrial world is built from the four basic elements: fire, air, water and earth, which exist in constant change and transformation, also known as coming to be and passing away, or generation and corruption. These elements have different characteristics depending on their basic qualities: hot and cold, moist and dry. Fire is hot and dry, air is hot and moist, water is cold and moist, earth is cold and dry. Given the fact that the influence of Saturn is coming from the most distant end of the solar system, where the light and the warmth of the Sun do not reach, its quality is believed to be cold and moderately dry, and for this reason its nature is understood as malefic or damaging life. Cold is understood as cool, heavy, slow, inclined of rest and delay, while dry is coarse, hard, well-defined and imposing. In ancient times, astrologers believed that some planets are stronger during the day and they formed the diurnal hierarchy or sect, while others are stronger at night and formed the nocturnal hierarchy or sect. It was also considered that when a planet is situated in a sign or a degree where it has strength or familiarity, it is somehow dignified, being able to produce results relevant to its nature. The Sun is the ruler of the daytime, and Jupiter and Saturn are its allies, while Mercury is also of the same sect when rising before the Sun. Claudius Ptolemy gives a brilliant explanation why the cold and dry Saturn is of the diurnal sect. He states that Saturn is assigned to the diurnal sect, not on the principle of similar natures, but of the opposite principle of balancing its qualities. The warmth of the day modifies the cold nature of Saturn and provides moderation, making it less cold and damaging life. The triumvirate of rulership of three signs of the same element is known as triplicity rulership. Thus the Sun, Jupiter and Saturn together are the triplicity lords of the fiery signs of Aries, Leo and Sagittarius, while Saturn, Mercury and Jupiter are the triplicity lords of the airy signs of Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. Saturn is designated to rule the signs of Capricorn and Aquarius, which correspond to the winter season, where days are shortest and coldest, similar to its dim and cold nature. Additionally, Saturn is attributed exaltation in the airy, diurnal sign of Libra, which corresponds to the beginning of the autumn, when the duration of the night prevails the duration of the day, and the vegetation starts its decline. Saturn is believed to bring delay, troubles, hardship, poverty, and accidents in line with its cold and dry nature. However, its nature is modified by different conditions related to its synodic cycle position, the sect of the chart, position in sign and degree, topical or house position, aspects to other planets, latitude, speed of motion, etc. For this reason, Saturn is not always malefic, not for everybody and everything. When a planet is situated in a sign or a degree where it has strength or familiarity, it is somehow dignified, being able to produce results relevant to its nature. If it happens that Saturn is situated in the signs of Aquarius, Libra, Capricorn, and to some extent in Gemini or Sagittarius, it will be in its own place, capable to support all matters and produce moderate or even good results, in the same time minimizing any negative ones. This would include good organizational skills, good memory and sharp mind, abilities to survive in harsh environment, stability of life conditions, success in financial matters and profession, all related to prevailing over everyday constraints. Further to this, if the chart is diurnal and Saturn is connected with harmonious aspects to the Sun and Jupiter being in a productive house, the result will be to a great extent positive and beneficial. Significations of Saturn. Saturn represents the elderly male archetype, the father, the older brothers, fathers of the children of others, ancestors, and what is left behind by the dead. It makes those who do not marry, the widows, orphans, and childless, the ones unfortunate with their children and brothers. Saturn signifies the old and the hidden, fear, fraud, affliction, solitude, asceticism, sorrow, mourning, burden, difficulty, misfortune, and loss. It also signifies dismantling of things, concealments, constrictions, bonds, false accusations, discord, envy, stubbornness, tears, captivities, exposures, banishment, and poisoning. Of people, Saturn signifies the dark, solitary, and self-willed, over-careful, gloomy and silent, low-class, depraved, treacherous and miserable, without imagination, laborious, violent, and more downcast until late in time. It makes people swarthy, misshapen, dry, sullen, scanty-bearded, hollow-eyed, melancholic, troublesome, fierce, short, liars, malignant, greedy, thieves, roaming, despisers, hypocrites, gluttonous, secret drinkers, having cautious behavior or living alone, ecclesiastic, entirely morose. In broader terms, Saturn signifies agriculture and cultivation of lands, real estates, buildings or watery property, inheritance or windfalls, amassing riches and poverty, laborers, peasants and farmers, tax and customs collectors, sailors, waterside trades and travel by sea, leatherworks, forced activities and heavy labor. In diurnal charts, in its domicile or exaltation, being angular, succeedent, and oriental, its malefic nature is modified. Thus Saturn procures great reputation and notable rank, guardianships and administration of the affairs of others, benefiting from the losses of others and from elder persons. It also signifies wits, esteem, prudence, and boldness in dangers. In nocturnal nativities, in the domicile of the other sect, being angular or succeedent, it is injurious, and brings dangers from powerful and elderly persons through old and past transactions. It also brings the native into debts, prison, and long-lasting punishments. It signifies the black color, harsh and acidic taste, and lead among the metals. Saturn is set down as a ruler of ignorance and necessity. In human body, Saturn signifies the thighs, knees, tendons, sinews, lymph, phlegm, bladder, kidneys, and the inner private. It shares the rulership of the nostrils with Venus. It gives dark complexion and dry skin, slender and hairless body, thin beard, small, dark eyes, and joint eyebrows. Of infirmities, it signifies hidden injuries from cold and moisture, chills, gout in the feet and in the hands, leprosy, and cancer. It causes nervous illnesses, depression, torpors, inactions, as well as chronic diseases or illnesses in the hidden parts of the body. It produces violent deaths, accidents and misfortunes, deaths in the water or through strangling, bonds or dysentery. It also causes falls upon one's face. Of the ages of human life, Saturn signifies the old age from 68 to 98. In overall, its greatest years are 57, middle ones 43, and lesser ones 30. Of the days of the week, it rules Saturday. Conclusion. Saturn is known as the necessity, Ananke, one of the three types of fate mentioned in Corpus Hermeticum. It is the visible planet traversing with slowest speed in the sky, most distant from the light and the heat of the sun, thus being extremely cold and dry. Its nature is malefic and damaging life. Saturn's influence varies between constructive and orderly to restrictive and even destructive. It brings delay, sorrow, loneliness, scarcity of resources, and misfortune. In diurnal charts, configured with Jupiter and the Sun, its malefic nature is modified to stability, organizational and business skills, faithfulness, longevity, and amassing of riches.